My name is Pat West. I'm a personal historian from Swanee, Tennessee.
You're from Swanee?
I'm from Swanee, and I have been contracted by John Bratton, whose grandfather was Theodore DuBose Bratton, to write a story about some of the South Carolina Brattons.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm visiting Fairfield Museum today and talking to you. And now, would you like to introduce yourself?
My full name is James Lyles, Jr. I was named after my father. I have a son who is James Lyles III, and a grandson who is James Morris IV, 4 generations. And I've lived here all my life, have 5 children, had 5 children. Now all I've got is a big dog.
Oh.
But,
Don't forget Pelham, your daughter.
well, as children, we lived next door to Randolph Bratton on High Street. This would have been in the early 1920s. And I'm not sure what business he was in, but I can remember him every morning going to work. He would walk with his head down, and the morning that he killed himself, he went up to the barber shop, and I can very vividly remember hearing that he had killed himself. And I'm not sure, it was in the early 1920s. This article doesn't say. Yeah, he was highly decorated, and I know where his grave is up here, if you want to.
Is he buried in the same cemetery as General John Bratton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they're in the same cemetery.
I would love to see it.
Yeah. There was a John Bratton who was the head of Martin Marietta, the quarry group, lived in Winston-Salem or Greensboro, the headquarters for Martin Marietta.
Okay.
And he may still be the head of Martin Marietta. Yeah,
Well, I know there's a John Bratton who went into business for himself in Raleigh and started a Wakestone Corporation.
Yeah,
Are you talking about the same person?
that's probably the same person.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be speaking to his son and one of his best friends and 2 of his sons next Monday in Raleigh. I believe this man died in 2009.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah.
And I think he may have been the one who started out at this quarry. And then he and his son, his oldest son, Johnny, started their own business.
Yeah. I remember he came to Winnsboro. I remember meeting him, John Bratton.
I think he had a lot to do with setting up a fund to preserve historic Brattonsville. That's what I've been told. But
I bet he did.
But now, do you? You're from Winnsboro, right? You're from Winnsboro.
Oh yeah.
And did you know any of the other Brattons? Maybe General John Bratton's family or Theodore DuBose's family?
Some
DuBose
of the
Bratton?
Theo DuBose family, yeah.
Theo DuBose Bratton, General Bratton's son.
Well, now didn't Dr. DuBose, he married a Bratton, didn't he?
Let's see, it gets confusing because there's a lot of DuBoses and a lot of Brattons.
Well, Theodore DuBose, what I'm talking about, was in the Civil War. He was wounded several times, and I think he was in Micah Jenkins' brigade, and Micah Jenkins had him appointed to be the chaplain of the brigade, just to save his life. So when the Civil War was over, he went to seminary, and he was the rector at my little Episcopal church around here, the first one after Civil War, and there's a big plaque to him around here.
I think that is Theodore DuBose Bratton. His middle name was DuBose. I think he was General Bratton's son and Elizabeth Porcher DeBose Bratton's son?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were related.
Yeah. So did you? Let's see. You wouldn't. Would you have known him? Did you know Bishop? Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
I'm
I think
not quite that old.
No, you wouldn't know him. That's right. That was a little bit before your time. But well, I have been contracted to write a book about some of the Bratton family by one of their descendants, John Bratton and Swanee. And John Bratton and Swanee, his grandfather was Theodore DeBose Bratton.
I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's actually been here at the Fairfield Museum before with someone else, Luke Austin.
Well, they lived up on the road above Richard Wynn Academy there. That was a DeBose place. Roseland.
Roseland, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And my mother knew them as children. You know, they were raised together.
Oh my gosh.
And they lived at Roseland. That was, I don't know whether that was Dr. Theodore. Dr. Theodore served as rector of the St. John's Episcopal Church for just a few months. And they took him to get the University of the South at Sewanee back on its feet. And he became the chancellor up there and did a good job.
Right, that's what I've heard. That's where I live, in Swanee.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the man, John Bratton, who contracted me to write about this, is in Swanee. So
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of research on
Yeah.
The
They
Right
have a
Reverend
lot on him
Theodore
in
DeBose
Sewanee.
Bratton.
That's on Dr. DeBose.
Would you remember, kind of going back in time, anyone else in the Bratton family, or do you have any memories of the Bratton family? I mean, we've talked a little bit about Randolph.
I don't think there are any left here. Now, Randolph Bratton's wife was Eula Bolwell, and she was raised out on the Newberry Highway. That's where she lived. But I can remember what she looked like, and the children, I remember them. I wonder what's become of his children.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure there's a way
Beverly and Randolph, and there was a third one, a little girl. And I think
Lucy?
it's Pelham gave me this article on him. She's taking it. No, here it is. It tells you.
Lucy sounds right.
I believe, well, we can double check that later. I can look that up for you later.
All right.
And we can find that out.
It doesn't tell her the daughter's names here. Okay.
Did you actually know Randolph, or just remember seeing him?
Well, I lived next
You
to
lived
him.
next door
Oh,
to
yeah.
him. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I had
right.
contact
So,
with him.
so,
But I was just a little fellow, you know.
oh,
I would have been, let's see, he died in what, 1920?
37.
Two. Doesn't give a year. But he, according to this thing, he was 42 years old when he killed himself. Now, when he came out of World War I, he would have been in his 20s. And he must have had a job, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he did. But he served in the 1st Division. The 1st Division was probably the best division in World War I. And the commanding general of the 1st Division in World War I was General Summerall, who later became the president of the Citadel. But he was the commander of the 1st Division, and later he became the chief of staff for the whole army, you know. Then he retired, and he came to the Citadel as president of the Citadel.
Oh my gosh! And you went to the Citadel, didn't you?
Yeah, he was the president when I was there.
Okay. Well, back to the Brattons. I am interested in Randolph, and I'm glad that we have all these articles the museum has found for us. But do you remember anyone saying anything about the Brattons, what they were like, or how they were viewed in Winnsboro?
Oh, yeah. They came here from Brattonsville. They were related to the Brattons that started Brattonsville up there. And, of course, General Bratton was very prominent. He was brigade commander of what, 6 South Carolina?
I believe so.
6. And they carried the battle at 7 Pines. They lost 9 out of 11 company commanders at 7 Pines, but they beat the Yankees at 7 Pines, but they lost half of the men. And my great uncle was killed there. He was James Lyles. He was bred at the University of Virginia, and he was company commander of one of the companies there at 7 Pines.
Oh, one more question about the Brattons. Do you know anything about General Bratton's business? Farmer, and what did he farm? What did he plant?
Cotton.
Mostly cotton.
Lot of cotton.
And did he branch out and do anything else? Because I know.
I think he did, but I can't tell you what it was. No.
That's okay. That's all right.
Randolph Bratton was in the 1st Division in World War I. They were probably the most outstanding division during World War
And is General Bratton over here?
Look at the campaigns this guy was in. 7 Pines, 7 Days, Manassas,
You know, look,
Fredericksburg, Chickamauga.
some of that's wrong. Luke Austin.
And he
researched
survived all of that.
that. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Is this General Bratton?
That's General Bratton.
Okay, his name, I don't even see his name on there.
Yeah, it sort of molded over.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, we'll get somebody to
Yeah,
clean it
at
up
some point.
eventually. Yeah, this old fellow had a big record.
He did. There's Luke Austin is a guy who was down here, and he wrote the book on General Bratton,
Yeah.
the letters he wrote to his wife during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And he checked out all these places, and he said one or two places he wasn't there.
Yeah,
So
there's
there's
one
some
of 'em that's
mistakes,
wrong.
maybe one,
There's one that's wrong.
but he still did a whole lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a copy of the book on him.
Letters to his wife. Yeah, I read that book when Mr. Bratton hired me to start this project. I think that's the first thing I read.